dimension.
This is 3D or 2D.com's Duh 3D Show.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
If you're wondering what the 3D stand for, they are discussion, debate, and the news. We hope that you enjoy the show. Get it? The show?
Duh.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me Classic Jake.
Hello, everybody.
Unfortunately, it's just going to be us two today. And welcome to the 3D Show episode 110. And this is being recorded on September 4th, 2022 at approximately 12:48 p.m. Central Standard Time. So anything that might change between now and you're listening to this, we're sorry. We try to upload this, and I'll be working on Labor Day to get this up as soon as possible. So yeah, if there's any news that popped up and we don't cover it or things changed, well, sorry. We do our best. So we got a good amount of stuff to talk about today, Jake. What do you want to talk about first?
Oh, we might as well start with the dumpster fire that is Warner Brothers.
Okay, so this is actually fairly recent news that no DC fandom for 2022, which DC fandom has been how they've been showcasing their content, and it's actually been fairly successful, and I think it's done a lot to generate hype and get interest in, and definitely is great to do during the pandemic, and they just canceled it this year, and who knows if they're going to do it again, and I really think it's a massive mistake.
Yeah, I think it's done so long as Zaslav's regime is running Warner Brothers, because I think he just doesn't see any value in it. I think he just saw that less people did it than did it the year before and just canned it.
And I understand that you just want to maybe wait till, Comic-Con and announce stuff there. But at the same time, this was your own event. So you could control the narrative and control what gets out there and get people excited for just your content. That's the thing. If you have San Diego Comic-Con, and you might have other news that might eclipse your news. So if you have your own DC fandom, that won't eclipse it because that's your narrative and you're controlling what comes out, and people will talk about your stuff. So it's just asinine to me why they're doing this.
Yeah, Marvel dominated Comic-Con, and they're about to dominate their parent company's own private event, D23. If half the it's going to be, we're going to be even more gobsmacked with what Marvel's been up to, sitting around in the age of pandemic.
So, yeah, it's really disappointing. I mean, I understand they just had an announcement that they're probably not happy about, which we'll get to in a minute about some delays. But at least give the stuff that is coming soon some time to get more hype around it. I mean, I don't think we've seen a new trailer for Black Adam, and that's supposed to be coming out in a month.
I have a feeling it was just the remix of the other trailers, probably all we're getting.
Yeah, probably. And we still don't know if that's a 3D movie or not, which I don't...
I mean, Warner Brothers is really, really broke. And Warner Brothers never set themselves up. See, Disney was smart that Pixar's its own thing, Marvel's its own thing, Disney Animation is its own thing. Everybody is their own separate entity. Warner Brothers isn't, has never been. And I think they've suffered for it creatively and financially.
It's so frustrating because, Marvel didn't have everybody. They technically don't have Spider-Man. They don't have, technically Hulk, because that's kind of a weird thing with Universal. But they made it work. I mean, for God's sakes, Iron Man was not a A-list character before the Iron Man movie.
Uh-huh. I think part of the problem is, DC's never had to. They've always insisted, these are our crown jewels. this is what we're going to push, what we're going to release. Well, Marvel has always been cool. You like Wolverine now? Well, fine. We'll make a lot of Wolverine books. You like Deadpool? Fine. We'll make their crown. Marvel's top tier characters. Their trinity of original characters were the Human, the Jim Hammond Human Torch, Submariner, and Captain America. And could you imagine Marvel's trying to push those three characters in movies, books, comics, and ignoring other characters becoming popular and not pushing them? I can't. And then when Marvel reinvented themselves in the 60s to bring back the superheroes, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, those were the big ones, and Hulk to a lesser degree. But they, and slowly the X-Men, who were later introduced, became a thing. They just kind of, they listened to their readership and their fans, and and what they wanted, they published. Like when they went nuts for the X-Men, they put out lots of X-Men books. When different X-Men became popular, like Wolverine, Deadpool, they pushed them. Spider-Man, his popularity has went up and down. Fantastic Four at one time even had their book canceled because they weren't selling.
Yeah, and now the person that got rich from Honey Boo Boo is taking control of DC movies. So yay.
They've never listened to their fans. They've always like, oh, we own Batman, we own Superman, we own Wonder Woman. They never pivot to, and there's been times in their history they have not been very popular.
I was actually really kind of excited for a reset again for DC and Warner Brothers. And okay, maybe they'll get their act together. And it seems like they're just getting worse.
Yeah, because they're still insisting on pushing Superman and Batman when audiences have told them they like the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman and the Jason Momoa Aquaman. So I would have been pushing for Justice League movie led by those two, because that's what the audience have said they want.
Now, since we're still talking about DC and those movies, we got some big ass delays, and these delays are pretty huge. They push two movies. One movie which I was kind of assuming maybe they got gonna get delayed anyway because we haven't seen the full trailer for it. And another one that got got moved from next year to this year, back to next year, which it just shows incompetence there. Just pick a date and stick to it. I understand the pandemic changed dates. Sure, fine. That's understandable. But you decided to push.
Yeah, this is all finances. Warner Brothers is so broke, they can't afford to release movies.
So, okay, let's make sure we got the content here. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Aquaman 2, for anyone not sure the title, was supposed to be coming out in December 16th. Then it got delayed to March 17th. And then Shazam got Fury of the Gods, Shazam 2, got pushed to Christmas. And now Shazam is going back to take Aquaman's March 17th date, and now the Aquaman's going to come out in Christmas of 23. And that's a huge amount of time to get delay for Aquaman. It's not like 2 months or 3 months. It is literally like 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they obliterate Batgirl, which had been, I know, old news, but they'd been pushed. This thing had been pumped up on social media for a couple of years now. People were hyped, and people are pissed.
Oh, I've read that they've had a quote-unquote funeral showing of of that Batwoman movie or Batgirl movie. I am 100% expecting it to be leaked online any day now.
Yeah. So I'll wait for. Just saved me money, Zaslav. Thanks.
So, that's a big delay. I could understand a little bit why you don't want to get in the way of Avatar 2 for Shazam. But why push it up then to push it back? That's stupid. And then so it's like, okay, fine. Black Adam staying where it is. Cool, good for that. Finally, we're going to get it this year. And then Aquaman is just like, we haven't seen a trailer for it. We haven't seen the teaser had nothing in it, really. So it's just like, okay, sure.
Yeah. A lot of bullshit is they're just trying to fan the stock bros. I think they're praying that they're going to get rescued like AMC did by some NTF loving stock bros are going to jump on their stocks because they're cool, whatever.
So, yeah, who knows?
Warner Brothers for the last decade, a little more than that actually. All they do is just announce, and 90% of what they announce is vaporware. Like where's Steven Spielberg's Black Hawk movie?
Yeah, we still don't know anything about Blue Beetle. Is that still supposed to be coming out next year? I don't know.
Or that been canned too?
And we got a lot of news about Joker Foil de Deux, the second Joker movie, which is like, okay. I love Joker movie. I trust the people behind the Joker movie, but I don't know about this Joker movie. But we'll see. I guess, you never know how that's going to work out. But and then that's not all the bad news. We got more news here. Aquaman star, I have no idea how to pronounce this, so forgive me. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, the actor that plays Black Manta in Aquaman 1, says that acting in movies like Aquaman is quote-unquote clown work, which, damn.
Cool. So does that mean Juggalos are part of the extended universe now?
Yeah, and, Joker movie says hi.
Yeah, after, Joaquin Phoenix is polishing his Oscar.
And, of course, God rest the great Joker that has passed. So we have here, I think, a very bad statement that they could still theoretically fire him and replace him with someone else.
I don't care. Anybody who does more than an eye roll, and he's just winding people up and trying to raise his profile. Like I said, he's not completely wrong, but he took the paycheck.
Yeah, and it's just, it's so disrespectful.
If he feels that clown work is beneath him, why did he do it?
Yeah. I forgot his name, Heath Ledger, but yeah, Heath Ledger got an Oscar after he died, unfortunately, and his work is awesome. I think he's a wonderful Joker. So yeah, it's just a disrespectful idea. It's like, look, I don't really know this actor from anything else, so I don't really know what else he's gonna do if you get.
Back to what we were talking about in the earlier, Jaws. Jaws was considered not real cinema. It was considered summer fluff. People forget Jaws only got a couple of technical Oscars. It was snubbed on nominations. It was a long time before serious critics were giving it its due. I mean, the people that were giving it its due in the 70s were laughed at. So, some of these movies today are going to be classics, and others, they'll fall on the wayside and become considered clown work, like a lot of the so-called Oscar bait that failed to find an audience and failed to get awards either.
I mean, I consider his work in Matrix Resurrections to be clown work. He was pretty bad as Morpheus, so,
Yeah, well,
look who's talking.
yeah, I just kind of always seen Matrix as clown work, but with some great camera work and some good ideas, and just missing some stuff on. And I don't want to really talk about the Matrix. It's been so long since I've watched it, and watched any of them, and I didn't see the last one. I really would like a refresher before I talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same guy that was in Baywatch the movie.
I go through moods sometimes with movies. Every once in a while, I'll hate something and turn around 2 weeks later, watch it, and I love it because I was having a bad day.
It's such an elitist attitude for someone that has, that's its biggest movie by far. If you look at his filmography on IMDb, the Aquaman is the biggest grossing movie.
I mean, I don't know the context of his statement. This is probably clickbait anyway. A clickbait statement, taken out of context.
So yeah.
So to me, it's like if he took the paycheck, and chances are that his statement was taken out of context, like a lot of what Martin Scorsese said. Because with Scorsese, if you read what he said, I'm like, yeah, I actually agree with him. But I also don't think it's a bad thing, and he didn't either in his statements. He was gobsmacked that people were attacking him about it. Marvel movies being amusement park rides. Yeah. So, I mean, it's entertainment. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you're not entertained, nothing else matters. I mean, Jaws is the same way. It's the bottom line with that movie is it's entertaining. And that's why people go to the cinema, is to be entertained. Thought-provoking and all the other stuff is bonuses.
Okay, so now that Aquaman 2 is coming out next Christmas, what is competing with it? Now, we have some interesting movies coming out right before then. I don't know if you know them top of your head. Okay. Wonka, the Wonka movie remake, is supposed to come out December 15th. The Color Purple. Ghostbusters Afterlife 2 on December 20th, 2023. Migration, the apparent Star Trek sequel, December 22nd, which we'll talk about that Star Trek movie later.
Yeah.
So there's actually a decent amount of competition for Christmas time of 2023. So, yeah, I don't know which movie would be the biggest hit of all that, but I don't imagine it's not the best time to come out, and it basically is it feels like not a real release date. It feels like a placeholder. Okay, well, we'll get it done by Christmas, right?
Yeah. So is Wonka even still is yet another Wonka sequel on?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that in a while. But
probably been quiet canceled along with everything else, it seems, at Warner Brothers.
Which is the story about how he met his Oompa Loompas in his earliest ventures. Which, okay.
It sounds like a Minions movie.
I mean, Timothy Chalamet looks great as Wonka, though. But
yeah.
So, yeah, it's...
I wonder if the second part of Dune is still on. I haven't heard about that lately either.
So, now Shazam being moved to March 17th. Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. It's going to be going against the Haunted Mansion reboot again, which I don't know anything about. The Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves is coming out 2 weeks before. Creed 3 is coming out 2 weeks before. And so it's not a bad time. I have no idea if the Haunted Mansion is going to be big for Disney. I assume probably not, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, the first time out of the theater, yeah, it sucked. But hey, who thought they could make a decent movie out of Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
Oh,
But then they ran it into the ground with terrible.
now Jared Leto is going to be the top cast here.
I'm actually starting to feel sorry for Jared Leto.
I wouldn't be surprised if that gets dumped on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I think that's a decent time, middle of March for Shazam. I think it'll be all right.
Been in the past has been very good for DC and Warner Brothers, particularly Warner Brothers. I mean, they, Matrix, in fact, is what made March such a hot month for movies.
And it's enough time after Creed 2 and Creed 3, and Dungeons and Dragons to have some buffer there. I think it's not bad date there. And I think if it was ready to come out this November for this Christmas, it's absolutely ready for March of next year. And hopefully they spend that extra time with 3D conversion, but who knows?
Yeah, 3D is done at Warner Brothers. Because Zaslav, it just strikes me as being beep.
So
doesn't have a lot of vision, but who knows?
Who knows?
Because I haven't seen it, like Black Adam. I don't think that's going to be 3D.
We don't know yet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, but I don't think so because there hasn't been a word about it in 3D. I haven't seen it in any ads. It's not on the poster.
Same thing with Shazam too. We didn't know if that was 3D yet.
I mean, nothing.
All right, we got one last DC thing to talk about, which I guess is good news. I don't know. So recently, a couple weeks ago, read a story that Ezra Miller has talked to the execs at DC at Warner Brothers. Apparently, the execs have been very upset about everything Ezra Miller done, and Ezra Miller is now getting help, and I applaud that. Ezra Miller, obviously, they need help. So I'm glad that's happening. Hopefully, he shuts up, or they shut up, and
just crap they're spreading to keep the social justice warriors and the rest of Twitter and social media from screaming about this movie driving their stock price down. I mean, I'm like going, I just hope they're getting help and that they're chilling now instead of roaming the globe committing crimes.
Yeah, and people forget, or I guess people nowadays don't remember that we did have a star that was in very bad shape, and he got his act together and became Iron Man. And there was a long time when Robert Downey Jr. was a joke. And
yeah,
he got his act together.
Jail.
Yeah.
He served a hard time. What am I saying? Jail. He went to prison.
I'm hoping Ezra is better, and that Ezra gets the help that is needed, and that this isn't just publicity. And apparently, behind the scenes, Warner Brothers has seen it, and the showings they've had to show people have had like the highest showings, the most positive thoughts on a DC movie since the Dark Knight trilogy. So apparently the people that have seen it think this Flash movie is amazing. So I guess
movie. They even said Batgirl was amazing until they killed it.
So we'll see, but I think that there's something there that the Flash movie, they don't want to quit on it yet. And I hope so. I hope it's great.
Quite put my finger on it.
Hopefully it's wonderful. Hopefully it lives up to everything, and hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the operating word at Warner Brothers.
Hopefully that movie doesn't die. And if it does die, maybe it'll be Dawn of the Dead. Oh, that's a terrible segue. I tried. I really did try there.
Hey, I'll give you a point for the effort.
So Dawn of the Dead, this is, Dawn of the Dead is getting the 3D re-release this October. And hey, that's awesome. Another classic movie getting a 3D re-release.
To 3D. I actually saw a 3D. This was what my 3D trailer was at Jaws in 3D.
And
they didn't show a whole lot because there's a reason this movie was released unrated.
Okay.
It would get slapped with an NC-17 in a heartbeat. And I imagine this conversion's also going to be unrated. So warnings the gore is intense, especially by modern standards. I mean, but if you've watched a lot of Italian zombie movies, this won't faze you. But if you've only seen the James Gunn, Zack Snyder remake, buckle up, kiddos. It's going to probably curl your hair.
So what you did see, how was that the 3D?
The 3D looked kind of rough, but the presentation. But this is a really old school movie shot on film stock, so it's going to be grainy. It is going to be a conversion. I mean, there was a release of this movie in Germany in 3D. I haven't seen the disc. I imagine it's a crappy German conversion, and what I saw in this trailer was not that. Because, most of the German conversions, it's just the scene is the whole picture is just set back. So in reality, it's still flat. This had depth. It was hard. Some of the scenes looked like they could be cardboardy. That kind of the layers are there, but the image is flat. I didn't notice that, except a few times I was like going, was that cardboardy? Part of it was because the images were moving so fast. Because, 3D, you kind of need a little time to see it. And this really fast cut trailer.
Okay. Now, when I saw Jaws, I saw the new trailer for Avatar 1, which is now in high dynamic range, and it looked gorgeous. Looked better than Avatar 2 trailer.
Did it did anything about being re-released in 3D?
Yes, it is. IMAX 3D even. So yeah, it looks gorgeous, and
visit this movie on the big screen.
So yeah, Avatar looks gorgeous in high dynamic range. I mean, high dynamic range just makes everything prettier and colorful. So this is a great thing it makes sense to do it. I don't know why the technology didn't exist then, but it exists now. So yeah, it's one of those things that it's been such a long time since I've seen Avatar in 3D in the theater. It's just like, oh, I forgot the king is back, baby. I forgot how good it could be.
Yeah. It's like Disney is doing Fox right.
Yeah. I mean, besides Prey, not going to theaters, but it is what it is.
Well, that's a pandemic decision, but hey, Prey is still awesome.
So, Dawn of the Dead coming out on the week before Halloween, the last couple days before Halloween. Check your local listings. Because
Yeah, not like one night. I mean, neither's Jaws, you know, in 3D. I mean, these are going to be, several screenings, several days.
yeah, I have it on Fandango now. It says October 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. So perfect timing for Halloween.
And good, gruesome fun.
Only wish that Michael Jackson's Thriller.
George Romero made. Now, I don't know, but his trilogy is really good, and this is a really gruesome, fun movie.
I just wish that Michael Jackson's Thriller 3D was in front of it, because not enough people were able to see that.
Oh, I wish that Thriller 3D get some sort of release, because it really needs to be seen by people.
All right, let's keep going here. We got another 3D release coming out next week as a recording date. Now, I just missed it, and I'm sorry I missed it. No slight to the people behind this movie. But Brahmastra is coming out next week. And that is an Indian movie. And it's a 3-hour movie. Brahmastra Part One, Shiva. And from that trailer, it looked incredible. Like that was going to be awesome in 3D.
Yeah, I hope. I plan on seeing it. Less, because a lot of these movies, I only get them in 2D around here.
And it's surprising that Disney's having this going out, and it's also IMAX 3D, for God's sakes. Which, hey, IMAX 3D come back! Hell yeah! Thank you. I don't have much experience with Bollywood cinema, Indian cinema, so I really can't comment on it. But it looks cool. I'll give it that.
And they and there's some really good. I haven't seen the trailer for this yet, and I have a feeling I'm probably not going to see it before next week, especially in 3D. But there's India has a great effects studios. They do a lot of work for Hollywood, and they've done some spectacular work in their own cinema. So I'm looking forward to seeing them take one of their history myths and legends and turn it into a modern superhero movie.
Now, RRR came out on Netflix, and apparently it was a huge hit. I haven't seen it, but maybe there's appetite for this, and cool. I'm definitely game for more content. I'm not going to judge it before I see it, and I definitely think they have talent, and I definitely think Bollywood movies are equal to, and can be equal to, Hollywood movies. Movies are movies, doesn't matter where they come from, as long as,
Yep. So. Yeah, and Bollywood has some great movies.
And they definitely have great talent, and so cool. I'm just happy to get more.
I'm just thrilled that I'm finally getting to see a Bollywood movie in 3D on the big screen.
All right, we got some potential Sega movie video game news, and now Sega is really known for Sonic right now. Both Sonic movies were a big success, and they announced 2 games coming out. I've only played one of them. I know the other one. The Sonic game, the next game, or the next 2 movies based on video games from Sonic is Space Channel 5 and Comic Zone. I'm safe to assume you have not played or know about either.
You are correct.
All right. So I'll explain a little bit of both. Space Channel 5, I never played it, but it's a weird concept. It's like a alien invasion, but to fight the aliens, they're dancing in a rhythm game or something. I don't know how the hell to explain it. How does that sound as a movie?
Dance off, and so now we know where the dance off. So did they borrow the dance off from Guardians, or did Guardians borrow the dance off from them?
So yeah, it's not even a popular game either. It's a well-known game, but I don't remember it selling millions of copies or anything. So, okay, sure. Go ahead, go for it, Sega.
What I'm like, is that the best they have the rights to, or have they licensed everything else off?
It has positive reviews and people like it. It's such a weird concept to have for a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, you play as Yulela, and she's a reporter who is like in a 1960s style sci-fi, and there's an alien invasion, and they're dancing and the fight off with the. So yeah, it's a pretty out there concept.
It's fun, kind of sounds like a musical version of Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. Oh man, I've seen that movie like a couple times, and it was like, it's such a weird movie, but it's kind of good.
Yeah, it's one of those 80s. Oh my god. I was like, when I saw it in theater, it's like, am I drunk?
Yeah, they look like Power Rangers. Yeah, anyway, so Space Channel 5, I guess. That's a weird concept, but sure. The next game going into be a movie is Comic Zone. Now, Comic Zone, on the other hand, is pretty interesting. All right. So Jake, do you remember there being a Looney Tunes cartoon where the animators are playing around with Daffy?
Yeah.
So, take that concept, and instead of the character being played around with, it's a comic book. And so there's panels, and I think the creator of the comic gets sucked into the comic and is jumping through the different panels and fighting various comic book based villains. It's self-aware, and the game, it's pretty fun. I actually played a good amount of this. Basically, it's, your old school style brawler, like Double Dragon, where you go to the right, beat up everybody, go to the right, beat up everybody, kind of thing. You know that kind of game?
Yeah.
So this would be like that, and instead of, you finish that screen, and when you go to the next screen, it's the next comic panel. And he would jump around different comic panels, and I think that definitely has a lot of premise for a movie. It could be a really surreal movie and a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Rescue Rangers.
Or even Free Guy kind of reminds me a little bit of that,
Yeah, kind of freewheeling, lots of fun, doesn't take itself too serious.
Now, that was only one game, I think, in the franchise, so that's a game from the Genesis time. So cool, but not necessarily a big property for Sega. But cool. I'm game to have. That one seems more interesting.
Yeah, that sounds right up my alley.
Now, there's other Sega properties that I think might be better off as a game, as a movie. I'm going to talk about some here. You may have heard of it. You may have not. Here's Golden Axe. Again, another beat 'em up. This is an 80s game, and it's with orcs and such. Side-scrolling. With Lord of the Rings being popular and fantasy being popular again with the House of the Dragon. Yeah, Golden Axe could be totally a really cool fantasy movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm not familiar with it, but hey, right now, anything The Lord of the Rings is really popular. You need that kind of fantasy.
Now, I bet that you've played this game. It's a popular game. Well-known game. House of the Dead.
Yeah, I've got my ass kicked hard a few times at this. I suck at this game.
So it is an old school, classic arcade style rail shooter, where zombies are coming at you and you shoot with the gun and you kill the zombies. Yeah, that's easy to make as a movie. Zombie movies are pretty easy to make. So
Yeah.
sure, I'm game for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Resident Evil movies have struggled, but I think they could. Zombie content definitely it could be good, depending on who makes it. But yeah,
Yeah, have a good story with interesting characters and great gore.
Jet Grand Radio, which was a Sega game about like graffiti spraying people that were. It's a really stylish game. It could. I think this would be really great animated. It could be very pretty, and it's kind of like a punk game. I can imagine this could be like a punk game where they're trying to, mark their territory in different gangs and such. That could work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Spray paint art is big.
Oh, I bet that you probably played this game. Crazy Taxi.
Never played it.
Okay, this could work. Crazy Taxi, you play as a taxi driver, and you have different people come that you have to pick up, and they tell you, go here, and then depending on how fast you go and how safe you drive, you get money, and you have to go to each place a certain amount of time. That could be a lot of fun. Obviously,
Great taxi cab movies made over the years. So the precedent's been set. So the possibilities are there to have a kick-ass, wild-ass, fun movie.
yeah, I haven't seen Gruber, but isn't Gruber basically this?
Yeah, kind of Stuber.
Stuber, yeah.
Okay, I mean it had possibilities, but Luc Besson's Taxi, that's really good.
Crazy Taxi is fun because it was actually a good use of product placement, because they would say, hey, take me to the KFC, and you go over there, and then, oh, hey, take me to the Reebok Center or whatever, and you go over there, and it's like, okay, you know what, that makes sense. And part of the fun of Crazy Taxi was that, so what, I could go cross lanes, I could run over stuff, who cares, just have fun. That could be a fun movie. Sega, if you're listening. Now, this one here, I think could be animated. It's called Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And
Dolphin. Of course, I don't know. Dolphins are smart. You could probably get one to get it to recite dialogue. And
this was a very early environmental game. So, hey, if Finding Nemo could work, this could work. Sure.
Yeah.
This one is a very surreal game. Nights. Basically is like people going into different people's dreams and like flying around and stuff.
Hey, with the success of Sandman, that would be a good.
And Inception, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like a great idea. Listening.
Yeah, you could have that, be a more kid-friendly version of Inception, Phase Your Dragoon, it's kind of like a dragon shoot 'em up game. That could be fun, in theory.
Mm-hmm.
Try different kinds of dragons and go around, sure. Now this one, I don't know if you played this one, but I like this game. This series, actually. Streets of Rage. Have you heard of this?
Just heard of Street Fighter.
Okay. Streets of Rage is your old school beat 'em up. You go to the right, you beat up all the guys there, and then you move on to the next area, and you beat up all the guys there. And, you could have a gang warfare thing, I guess, if you want. Crime thing, sure. Now this one I think has the most potential. Shimnu. Now this is actually like a game that was really ahead of its time when it came out. It had a lot of cinematic qualities when they made it, and it basically is like a Japanese mobster movie. So there's like Yakuza stuff in there, and getting to know your character and growing, and yeah, that has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Now this one here, Phantasy Star, it's like an RPG. This one, there's the sci-fi and fantasy themes in here. You're supposed to crawl around different dungeons. This one might be okay.
Depends on if somebody's got a good vision or not.
Yeah,
because you can make everything. You can make a good movie about anything, same as you can make a bad movie about anything.
Yeah, I think those have potential. I think there's definitely some Sega stuff that has potential. I guess ultimately, Sega feels good after the Sonic movies being a success, so they feel confident enough to bring out some movies. Not the movies I would choose right away, but okay, sure. Comic Zone, yeah, that might be fun. And Space Channel 5, if they make it really funny, I think it might be fun. All right. So we got some news about Star Trek 4, which Star Trek 4 being the fourth movie in the rebooted Star Trek universe, the Abrams verse, and Paramount, basically said, yeah, this is happening, and didn't tell the staff about it, and they're like negotiating, and they had a director, which that director was Matt Shakeman, the director behind WandaVision, and now that director has left to go do the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, well, maybe they can get Peyton Reed to do Star Trek. Or they can talk to Quentin Tarantino. Because I don't think his Star Trek movie's happening. He can do this one. Or they can do that one. It's just, oops.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but understandable. I love Star Trek, and I don't see this coming out next Christmas. I'm sorry. I don't think they even started filming, and I don't think they've even gotten contracts done. This is no way in hell coming out next year.
Yeah, and I also think everything is so stacked up that even if they rushed it, of course, who knows how much if he left the project, he probably wasn't signed on the dotted line yet. So, now it's disappointing, but I now have a lot of hope for the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many bad ones do we have to endure before we finally get a good one?
Yeah. Now, the Star Trek movie could work, rushed out, but here's a big but. They just don't do it with the cast of the new rebooted Abrams verse. They do it with the cast of either Strange New Worlds, which would be the Pike cast, Pike cast, yeah, and or the Discovery crew, because they already filmed those seasons pretty quickly, and they have those sets, and both of those crews are very knowledgeable and know how to make quality Star Trek. I know people don't like Discovery, but I've really grown to love it, and Strange New Worlds hit probably maybe the best season 1 of any Star Trek to date. And if they get those people behind there and just say, screw it, we'll just make a Strange New Worlds movie, I think that is 100% possible to come out in 1 year.
Well, I also think with the way Zaslav is at Warner Brothers, they might be able to pick up some guys, some directors who were working at Warner Brothers who may want to move on to less turbulent pastures, let's say.
Now, I think an easy director that Star Trek fans will be happy about, has experience in Star Trek, and has experienced both filming Star Trek and directing Star Trek. Do you know who I'm thinking, Jake?
Pegg.
Who?
Simon Pegg.
Well, yeah.
Star Trek. I don't think he's directed anything.
Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, he would be a good choice. He's developed into a fine director.
He was Riker and Next Generation, and he directed First Contact, which is maybe one of the best top 5 Star Trek movies of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good one. And it's got an interesting cast, too. They made some really interesting choices that I thought worked very well.
And Jonathan Frakes, his working with Star Trek, has still made several episodes of various shows. So he is in the fold. I think he would absolutely do it in a heartbeat. And he would be affordable for Paramount. And it will be in-house. So why the hell not?
Yep.
And I think every Star Trek person would be 100% happy and fine with Jonathan Frakes being director, because everyone likes Riker. I mean, who doesn't like Riker?
Yeah.
And First Contact is beloved as a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If they really don't want to hire him, Robert Duncan McNeil, he was in Star Trek Voyager. He has been directing a lot of different stuff. I think he could be great at this too. I don't think he's done a feature-length movie, but he's done a lot of TV. And he knows Star Trek. He was Paris in Star Trek Voyager, so I definitely think he could do it too for relatively cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, relatively cheap compared to other directors such as Matt Shakeman, which obviously got outbid and at Disney. And maybe the reason why he left Star Trek is because he doesn't see it happening. And, Fantastic Four is going to happen, period. It's not, it's 100% guaranteed to happen from Disney Marvel.
Yeah, and there's also a guarantee they're going to have a marketing budget, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure that movie opens in the #1 spot.
So, Paramount, if you're listening, give it to Riker. Give it to Jonathan Frakes. He's a wonderful guy. Everyone loves him. He definitely has worked in Star Trek before, in the past, in the present. He could do this, and he will be happy to do it. So that's an easy thing to do. And I think a lot of people, considering how much people love Strange New Worlds, give it Strange New Worlds a movie. I think that will work. It has its own Spock, it has its own characters, and Strange New Worlds is episodic, and it's okay. They could work. I think that could be a wonderful way of doing a movie and doing it pretty quickly. So, yeah, that would be my bet. To just, I do love the Abrams verse. I do think those movies are really good. I really love Beyond. I think Beyond is the best of them. I think 2009 is great, and Into Darkness is problematic, but there's some good parts of it.
I think I like In Darkness better than a lot of people do. I actually like them all. I think I relate to In Darkness because it just reminded me the most of how political the original Star Trek was, and this was hitting those same notes.
I mean, they shouldn't have redone Khan. They just move. You had a great idea here for a new reboot. Excuse me. So why try to do Khan? Why try to fool people? It didn't work for that purpose. You didn't need to have Khan.
I had no problem with it being Khan. When it got leaked, they should have not lied about it.
Yeah.
And put a secret, because the secret no longer worked. Oh, by the way, if I hadn't known, I would have figured it out anyway, because the way they set it up. So it wasn't a very good secret.
And it's been a long time since Star Trek Beyond, 2016. So that is a long time ago. I'm assuming the actors can jump back in and be their roles, but it's been.
And I think we've mourned Anton, so I think we should recast Chekhov.
I mean, honestly, I'm fine. I think Star Trek Beyond was a great movie. I love Star Trek Beyond. I reviewed it for the site years ago, and I definitely think that they left that series on a high note. You just got to move on. I'm sorry. I love the Abrams guys. I think Quinto is great as Spock. I think I love Uhura. I love all of them. But
Abrams isn't even around anymore. So do you follow his vision?
Yeah, and Abrams has definitely become a lot more controversial since then. And I don't know if I trust him either. If anyone trusts him with the big franchise right now.
Oh, just so much is changing and changing again on top of that. But I'm just hoping Paramount can get their act together. Because, I mean, why didn't they do a follow-up to World War Z? That was a no-brainer.
Yeah, that was in development hell for a long time, and then they were making it, and then that got canceled.
Yeah, it's a damn shame.
But they've been able to crank out a lot of Star Trek in the last few years, and I really like the new Star Trek a lot. I think I think they definitely can crank one out of that really easily. So it'll just be easier just to move on and make it a Strange New Worlds movie. And I think that's a fresh start. You already have a cast that people like. You already have the set made for the show. Season 2 already finished filming. Go for it. It's easy.
Well, do they have a script? That's rub. It sucks. I mean, most of the time, if you go on a set and they're still writing the movie as you're filming, 90% of the time the movie suffers. I mean, every once in a while you end up with a masterpiece, but usually you don't.
We'll have to see how that works out, if it works out at all. But I think it's the smartest.
Yeah, I just think this is going to get delayed because they've got to find a new director, and they may want to take the opportunity to rethink what Star Trek 4 is going to be. I just thought it was a pity we didn't get the last one because, they could have had Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth. Of course, with Taika Waititi leaving Marvel, and who knows who's going to do Thor 5 or if Thor 5 is now going to happen because of that. Chris Hemsworth may be interested in coming back as Kirk's father.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, I don't care about Kirk's father.
Yeah, you want to know the truth? I don't either, but the thing is, he was good in the part.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, for the 30 seconds he was on screen for the first movie.
Yeah, but he made enough of an impression. I knew he was there.
But yeah, I mean, I said it a dozen times before. I'll say it again. I watch Star Trek for new worlds, for strange new worlds to boldly go where no one has gone before. I don't see Star Trek for daddy issues.
Yeah.
So I don't care what happened to Kirk's dad. I don't care. I want to know what happens on a new planet they've never discovered before.
Yeah.
So that's what I want from Star Trek. So yeah, I think most people agree with that. So yeah, it's just move on.
Yeah, that's the week.
All right. I guess that's going to be it for us. Now patrons can stick around for their bonus features, and we have an announcement about Patreon. We've reduced our prices. I have decided that, considering that inflation has been hitting everyone around the world, and this is a website for the world, I've only have one tier now. And the one tier is $1 for a month. And with that dollar, you get exclusive podcasts, you get early access to videos, And right now, one of our patrons is listening in live. And so it's only $1 a month. I'm not asking to make $1 billion. I mean, I just kind of want to make a break-even point. I'm not, a lot of people will have patrons that have like $500 a month or something, or just $1 a month. I'll buy that for $1, and you get lots of bonus content. And we're going to go into some of that bonus content now after we say bye. Bye.
Bye, folks.
As this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Mr. Bingo 5, Kevin Winter, Alex Folk, and Gravity Head Zero for your financial support on Patreon.com. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.